Hi guys, it's Mirka here. I'm the founder of Beauty by Mirka. Today I'm going to be talking about mix of lengths and layers. I don't know how about you, but I have noticed that many people are actually not mixing the length. They are using one length all throughout the lash, which is, for example, length 11. So they're using 11 in the inner corner and all the way to the outer corner. So today I'm going to show you how important it is to be mixing it, and hopefully this video will help you with your next client. So when we're talking about the mix of length, I'm talking about the layers, but also I'm talking about the inner and outer corner. So I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to draw an eye here. So this is going to be inner, this is going to be outer corner. As you know, our natural lashes, I have normally in the inner corner shorter lashes in here, then they go slightly longer, and the longest lashes are right in the middle. Then they're going to go shorter again, and the shortest one in the outer corner. This is an average eye. Okay, so I know some people have got longer lashes in the outer corner. This is an exception, but in most cases this is an average eye. So we've got small, medium, large, medium and small length again. So when we are actually creating extensions for our client, we have to try, we should really copy the natural eye, where you're using shorter lengths in the inner corner, then you do slightly longer lengths, and then you can do even longer lengths right in the middle, or you can create a longer length right in a probably like where is the 2/3 of the eye, depending what kind of look you try to create for your client. But please always start with the shortest lashes in the inner corner, because it just looks really nice and natural. If they are too long, what normally happens is when your client opens her eyes, those lashes in the inner corner will actually tickle her eyelid. Also, you have to be thinking that those lashes, what we apply, they're gonna go even longer as the time goes by, right? Because our client is going to come back after, let's say, 3 to 4 weeks for the infills. Now, can you imagine how far the lash what you applied on the day of her appointment will be really close to the lash line, okay, because we need to be applying lash 0.5 or 1 millimeter away from the eyelid. Okay, so that's your actual extension in here. So let's create extension in here. It's going to be nice and short. You should be using, for example, 4 millimeter in the length in the inner corner, all the way up to probably 8 or 9. Okay, so all the way to 8 or 9 even in the inner corner. Okay, so that's what you should be always applying. You shouldn't really go anything over 9 millimeter. So when you apply this extension in here, after a few weeks, this extension, it will be somewhere in here. This is going to be too heavy for those lashes. This is not going to look nice anymore. It's going to start twisting. It's going to be too long for her eyelid. So please make sure you always applying very nice and short lengths in the inner corner. As you're moving more towards to the middle, you're going to go slightly higher. So we then go from 9, we go up to 10. We go then 11, and like I said, it all depends what kind of look you want to create for your client, because we can create a cat eye, we can create a dolly eye, we can create a squirrel or round eye. It's completely up to you what you're creating for your client, and depending what it's going to suit your client as well. So if we're doing squirrel, we know that the squirrel look, the longest lashes should be in this area. So we can be doing, for example, 11s here, and then we move on to the 12s or 13s in this area to create the longest look in there. But you always have to start with the shortest one and gradually go slightly higher into the desired look what you try to achieve. When we working with layers, try to do the longest lash at the bottom. So just imagine if this is your eyelid, okay, and then we've got few layers in here. So for example, our client has got 4 layers. If you look closely onto your eye, or maybe on your client's eye, on your partner's eye, if you haven't been lashing just yet, you notice that we've got few layers, okay? So we've got the bottom layer, and then we've got a few in the middle, and then top layer. So let's talk about 4 layers for our client. If you are using just the 11 length, for example, for our client, this eyelash at the bottom would have 11. This eyelash slightly higher would have 11 as well. Okay, so can you see what's gonna happen? This will have 11 as well. So what's gonna happen is that your transition in here, it's not going to be nice and smooth, because those lashes will stick slightly higher up. So your tip, or my tip to you guys, would be, if you're using 11 here, try to use shorter length on the second layer. So from 11 we go down to 10, okay, and this 10 should be as high as your 11. Now if we're talking about the third layer, again, we don't want 11 and we don't want a 10, because this lash sits slightly higher. So what we're going to be using? We're going to be using a 9, okay? So that's how you can actually work with the layers. You start with the longest one at the bottom, and as you go slightly higher up, you're changing the length, you're changing it to make them shorter, so you've got nice and smooth transition. And then this one on the top could be 8. Now you have to be really careful with the lashes what you work with, and also with the layers, because if you don't have second layer in some of the area, but it goes straight away to the third layer, for example, you shouldn't be using 11 and then 10, okay? If you haven't noticed that there is not second layer, so it would be 11 and 10, okay? You need to skip from 11 down to 9 if those two lashes if the distance between those two lashes is really high, okay? So in there you need to still use 9, okay? So sometimes you need to do let's say 11, 10, 9, but sometimes you may need to do 11, 9. I hope that makes sense. Also, it will all depends of the curl as well, because if you're using stronger curls, that means that the curl, it's slightly the lash would be slightly shorter, okay? If you're using more like less curl, like for example C curl or B curl, C curl or B curl, it is much straighter. So if we're talking about C10, your D10 will look like a D9 only, okay? Because D curls slightly quicker than C. So the C10 will look longer than the D10. So I hope that makes sense. Compare your curls on the piece of paper or on the table. Just bring them close to each other. And if you are working with the curls in the layers, you have to be thinking that some of the curls are curled earlier than they should have. So you would be skipping by 2 millimeters in length. So I hope that all makes sense. Let me know if this video helped you. And if you do have any questions, please ask me. I'm more than happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching and for all your support. I love you loads, and see you soon. Bye.